I checked the pot working. So that's perfect. Then you send me blast. Hold on.
Yeah, send the blast.
Wow.
Does that sound funny? Saying Caucasian? Take it up. KMR sounds. Okay, I'll just
Not really. I like the video, kinda.
Huh?
I like the starting video, kinda.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, anytime you're ready, I'm ready. Just see my all right, KMR sounds. Oh, I'm not even on video. You just let me know when, Ian.
How much you know about religion?
Get ready.
Just jump in.
Okay. Oh, ready? Oh, it's on?
Yeah, you won.
Oh. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Table Talk Show with Nikki G, the voice. I hope everyone had a great week. I think there was a flood in New York yesterday. Someone had mentioned it, with the alternative parking. Jersey was okay. I was super tired, so I probably slept through the whole thing. But the weather on the whole was good. We've had some rainy days. Today it's kind of cloudy, so we'll see what happens. If you need to reach us at some point in time, if you're watching us right now, you could go on our app, which is Island Vibe Radio app. I think we have it for all phones at the moment. So check it out. Go on your app, download us. You could see video, you could chat with us. I'm on it right now, so you could say hi directly to the host and chat with the DJs if you're on here. You could browse around and, see what's good. There's so much happening. We have our Christmas party that's coming up in December and so much more. If you need to add us on Facebook And all social medias, just type in Island Vybe, VYBE, on Facebook and Instagram, and also Nikki G the Voice on all social medias, including Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, and now I'm going to be making my own page as well. All right, which is Nikki G the Voice. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Table Talk Show with Nikki G the Voice. I have lots in store for you. I have some reviews. When you go on our app, you'll see Soca to Soca. That's SOKAH to Soca, and it's written by Ananda. He has very great articles. We were speaking about it. People complain that, the younger generation or the older generation doesn't pass down to the younger generation. And I actually have that topic on my Instagram page. If you want to go there and give us your 2 cents, if you think that is not the case. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to take a short break, and we're going to talk about the article by Soca to Soca. I have my special guest who's from Wisconsin, but now she's based in Miami. She's a very versatile artist, right? I don't want to say up and coming because she's been in the industry for at least 12 years, okay? So keep it locked to Table Talk Show with Nikki G the Voice on Island Vybe Radio, and we will be right back in 1 minute, okay? Keep it locked.
All your hits, banging right here.
Braffy. Sassy. Braffy. I from me little and I grew every gal out the road. I feel tell me clean and sassy. Amount of gal when me get, if you ask me, I tell you 140. She see me lick alone and walk past me. I say me out like lobster from shackles. Some boy too nasty, coulda never be bossy. You know see the gal, them a say we braffy. I'm so clean like Jesus. So clean like Jesus. In my white tees, I'm a Jesus piece. Cologne a kick like Jesus piece. I'm so clean like Jesus. So clean like Jesus. In my white tees, I'm a Jesus piece. I'm a cologne a kick like Jesus piece. Me tell you so me can do this all night. Balenciaga matchy half white. Hold it on me in all white. You know see me all right, ride out fast by. Me have it in a black and in a red, so if you want one. Me step out now, color Jordan. Some boy at Tarzan, know your class man. You know me dog, them not talk long cause man. Braffy, cause man. Braffy, sassy, braffy.
I love you. Good, I love your background.
Oh, thank you.
I've never seen it from this side.
Colonna kick like Jesus piece. I'm so clean like Jesus. So clean like
Did a great
Jesus.
job
I'm
making that.
white tees, I'm a Jesus piece. I'm a colonna kick like Jesus.
I usually have it on, but I saw this.
That's all right. It looks cool here in the studio.
If you ask me, I tell you 140. She see me lick alone and walk past me. Say me out like lobster from sharkies. Some boy too nasty, coulda never be bossy. And I see the girl, them a some braffy dog. Braffy. Rummy them, not to set up. Tell me that slide of them. Up top city, up top nation. Meditate. I'm high on life, wanna meditate. So allow me, make I enjoy life. Cause problem not the finish, oh eh. Every day different wahala. Problem not the finish, oh eh. I just wanna party every day. I just wanna party every day. So pass me the touchy. Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, one girl, make it touch it.
You sure?
Touch it.
Yeah,
Touch it. Pass me the touchy. Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, one girl, make it touch it. Touch it. Shut up and bend over. Let your back up, do the talking over. So back up and bend over. Let your back up, They're talking over, say, I want to chop my life. I want to be happy. I want to dance and party to the rhythm of my body. I just wanna party every day. I just wanna party every day. So pass me the touch.
All right, it's all.
Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, gun girl, make it touch it, touch it, touch
It's
it,
good now,
touch it,
Ian.
touch it, touch it, pass me the touch.
Okay.
Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky.
It's a little weird because I ain't changed nothing.
I know. I was hearing it too when I raised up my volume.
Touch it, puff, puff, pass. My Mary Jane.
Oh, you see, he hears now.
I'm high on life, wanna meditate. So allow me, make I enjoy life. Cause problem not the finish, oh, eh. Every day different wahala. Problem not the finish, oh, just pass me the dutchie. Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, one girl, make it touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Pass me the dutchie. Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, one girl, make it touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Puff, puff, pass. Sugar daddy. Yeah, yeah. Dilly dally, yeah. Puff, puff, pass. My Mary Jane.
One.
Good morning, everyone. Let me try to get my notes here. Yeah, morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in to Table Talk Show with Nikki G, the voice, on Island Vibe. If you didn't log in before and now you're tuning in, we have the app. You can go to the app and you can hear us and you could also see us. I have it up on my Facebook page. At some point, we're going to try and do interviews so people on Instagram could see as well, but I'm going to work on it. All right. So I have my special guest. Before I say I was going to do my introduction of, soca to soca, but we'll leave that for last. We'll save, we have the best, but we're going to say the best of the best for last. The news that he has, the highlights that Anna does, and so forth. All right. So I have my beautiful guest who, we've been talking, Ananda. Excuse me. I have my special guest. We've been talking for weeks or a couple of months, I could say, right?
Yes.
So how it came about, I have my friend, actually someone that I know for years, that introduced me to Unity, right? He said, Nicole, I have this very, very talented person who I want you to interview. So I'm like, yes, send it over. Your voice is so captivating. Like, I must say, like, I like going to, even though I have people send their bios, I
Right.
like to go and look at the interviews and see you personally and see the question that they ask and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And as I was, searching around and stuff, I don't want to say snooping, but searching around, you sound and for every song that I hear, right, and I know it's a cross fusion and so forth.
Right.
You sound like a cross between Denise Plummer and there's a other artist you did a cover on that I really, really enjoy. Have anyone ever messaged you or told you that you sound like someone?
Was it the Alicia Keys one?
No.
No. I get a lot of Shakira, actually.
Oh,
I haven't
really?
covered Shakira, but yeah, I get a lot of people that say Shakira.
How about Adele?
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
some Adele. Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll take that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I know.
All of it, any of it.
So welcome
you.
to Table Talk Show. It's I was like super excited. The more the days started passing by, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I say, you know what? Even though she sent me the bio, let me check around and see how you sound, your interviews and stuff. Really good.
Oh, thank you.
I would say you downplay yourself a lot.
Oh, well, thank you.
You
Thank
do. Like, I don't want to say downplay, but there's so much to you. There's so many facets to you that I found out
you.
that, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Not many, not everybody's as interested. So hey, I'll take it where I can get
All
it.
right.
Anywhere is fine with me, and table talk, perfect spot. So
Yeah.
I'm just as happy as you are to be here. So thanks for having me.
Oh, great, great. How was your week so far?
Oh, a little crazy, but it's typical. So nothing new, but great. I wrote writing some new stuff as always, in the studio doing the thing. And I also I did this in the past, and then with COVID had to kind of take a hiatus, and things kind of chilled for a bit, but I'm back to teaching percussion and steel pan.
Oh,
I
really?
am not a pan player by any means or stretch of the imagination.
Uh-huh.
But I have a nonprofit organization, which I actually have had since 2016.
Mhm.
There isn't a ton of it out there, online yet, because when you're dealing with kids, you have to be very careful with, photos and videos and all that stuff. So I've
Yeah.
just gotten official clearance that I can start posting some things about what I'm actually doing,
Okay.
under the radar, to
Okay.
kind of push the culture and expose kids to new things.
Okay.
I'm over at Slam in Miami right now, working in Little Havana. I
Okay.
used to do it out in Miramar with a very big island population school. The school I'm at now is mostly Hispanic. So, we're grooving, we're doing our thing. So yeah, I've been doing that every 3 days this week, and I buy some groceries, go to bed, and that's about it, and do it all again the next day.
What is the name of your organization?
It's called Face the Music. It's spelled a little tricky. I like to spell things difficultly,
I
so
know
they're
the
really hard to
twist.
find. So it's spelled FACETHAMUZIK. And I actually started it in the juvenile detention center here in Miami. Went in with the
Mm,
inmates, and we did some songwriting. Obviously, I couldn't bring the steel in because that would have been unallowed. So, but we
okay.
did songwriting. My producer made beats for them, free beats that they could rap to and kind of, get it out of their system. So I did that for a while, and then we got grabbed
Recording in progress.
Oh,
to
sorry.
come. No, that's okay. To come to a school in the community in Miami, and then we were asked to come to a wellness center for youth that was, struggling with drug addiction and teen pregnancy. And so we brought what we did there, and it's basically training music industry related careers. So anything from beat building to singing, songwriting, rapping, performing, dance. Now in the last few places we've added, steel and percussion. So, just kind of building and growing, and whatever the kids enjoy, whatever they're into, the answer is yes. We've added bucket drumming. We've had a ton of young ladies interested in makeup, like stage makeup. And so whatever they're into, meet them where they're at and give them what they want. And it's all 100% free of charge. So,
Oh, very nice.
yeah, they don't have to pay for the beats. They don't have to, we help them learn how to copyright the
Okay.
songs that they make. So it
Okay.
can be theirs. We just do what we can. It's myself, my producer, and then our engineer, Eddie Beethoven. Shout out Eddie
Oh, nice.
at NH Records.
Mm.
He helps with engineering. He's also an amazing piano player. So, I just grab whoever I've got around, be like, I know you're good at this. Come on, let's go hang with the kids and show them what it's all about. So yeah, so again, other than that, totally not busy.
You see what I mean? You have
Right.
so much going on, and I think that's wonderful. You keep yourself
Thank you.
busy. I had a question. Normally I start with, the traditional, like I go back, so I want people to know where you started from. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
get to that. But this is great because I actually made a post that was asking people, do the older generation pass down to the younger generation and educate them on soca? I mean, I know we're dealing with soca now because, this is the question at hand, right? But
Right.
that's the question that I asked. Do we feel that soca has gatekeepers?
All right, girl. Let me Let me straighten my
Okay,
bed.
that
me
that
brace
big
myself.
question, that big
Um,
question, we would talk about it. I don't want to forget it, but I would mention that later. I want people to get to know you first.
Sure.
And then, I see you buckle down and ready to ask the question. But we're gonna ask that question. I want people to get to know you first. So
Sure.
tell me about, Little Unity, or I don't know if you want people to know your real name.
Honestly, I tend not to put my real name out there simply because I do work with young people, and the
Right,
minute they know your name, they
exactly.
Google you. And they actually found me one year on an interview I did in Trinidad, a newspaper article, and they printed my real name along with my
Oh
stage
no.
sobriquet. And so when they Googled my name, it popped up, and they're like, "Oh my God!" So it's kind of like a whole, thing. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not that they can't know, it's just, it's two different worlds that come together in certain
exactly.
ways. But,
Exactly.
not everyone understands the culture of
Yeah,
soca and carnival. So when they see
yeah.
it, they're like, what is this? And, so
I think okay, so what we would do is I think she's frozen a bit. Let me see if I get her. All right. So we would take a quick break and try to fix this really quick. Play a little music, and then we'll come back. All right.
Oh, my mango loving funky mother lovers. You ready?
No man can decide my destiny. Only I can decide my own for me. Cause I'm a old gangali. Uncle Slime Shanky. When I was born to be free. I'm a old gangali, gangali. I'm an old gangali, gangali. And who have eyes they will see. Yes, I wanna be free from all chains and all bangles and rope. Free from all bars and all borders and dope. Free to praise the Lord, becoming I praise the Pope. So I know you I wash your face with Babylon soap. Me have one leap of faith, that means me have one leap of hope. Life rough and hard, but with it me have to cope. Some take it on the level and some slide down the slope. Silent river run deep, but gangali have to float. I was born to be free. I'm a gangali, gangali.
It's very enlightening, very educational. So if you would like to go and check out his articles, wow.
On his back. The big thing. And a big back. You're not a big back. You pointed them. You're all talking about big back and the damn shiny.
Yeah. So, all right, so she's back. All right. My guest is coming back in. And I'll give you more on Soca to Soca very soon. Hi.
hey, sorry about that. The whole world just shut down for no apparent reason.
That's okay. That's okay. It
Sorry.
happens.
Hope that doesn't happen again. No idea what happened. My computer just went completely off. So
Oh,
my
wow.
apologies.
Yeah, that's okay. So,
yeah.
so my question was, just to go back from where you started, right?
Right.
As a kid, how did you start? How did you get into the soca industry? Well, let's say at 7 years old, what were you doing?
At 7 years old, I was living in a little tiny town called Wisconsin up in the Great North Woods. Population 2,000 people. I like to say more cows than humans, definitely. The woods, the wilderness, bare feet, campfires, baseball at the park on Saturdays, like homegrown, like country bumpkin girl. So I was singing in the church choir because that was basically the only outlet available in the little town I'm from. So I was singing in the church choir since about 5. And then in school, I was, always really into music. Around 5th grade, I picked up playing the saxophone actually. And, but voice was always my first love. So I went through the whole I was in the musical theater and I was in all the choir stuff and like anything I could get my hands on that allowed me to perform and sing and, do my thing. I was always, all about it. So,
Yeah.
that's basically it. Like very, very like a small town family. So I kind of understand the family dynamic when it comes to soca being from a smaller island where everybody's
Yeah.
really interconnected. And, if I skipped school, like someone would call my parent because they saw me walking on the sidewalk. I even had one time I went to the gas station and I pumped my gas and I ran into my friends and I started chatting away and I got in my car and drove away without paying for my gas. So somebody called my mom and said, can you tell Unity that she didn't pay for her gas on pump 4? So if she could come by in the next couple days and pay us, we'd really appreciate it. So yeah, totally different than here, in Miami where, if I would have put my foot on the gas even for an inch, there probably would have been 75 police officers surrounding
Exactly.
stolen gas and grand theft, so
Yeah.
totally different lane than, what I'm into now, but it's always been music. And from there, I've just expanded. I did vocal music as a major in college. I do have my music education degree, which came a little bit later. I taught music in Kenya, Africa for a little bit. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I didn't want to cut you off. I was just
No.
gonna say when I looked at your interviews and I saw that you interviewed in Kenya, I was like, what? Like
Right.
she didn't say this,
Yeah.
So I was hoping that
Players.
that you actually was gonna bring it up, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So music, I just kind of float wherever it takes me. And then I came back and hit Miami. And I know I've given you the long version of my full life story in 2 seconds. You asked about my childhood, but just so you kind of understand how the music fits, it's always a music-based movement pretty much. So yeah, so I landed in Miami and got down with soca and here we all are.
Yeah, which is awesome. That's why I wanted to do the history of it to give people the connection of where it all started,
Right.
how you became a person that sang soca, right?
Mhm.
So going to Miami, right? In
Right.
starting soca and so forth, who introduced you to soca? Did you hear it? Did someone mention it to you and say, okay, let's sing it? How did it come about?
Well, so I have sung literally every genre known to man. I grew up obviously in the country. It was country music and rock and roll. So that was a big thing. And then I lived in Chicago for a bit. So then that introduced me. I was, not introduced me, but I got down into the deep hip hop scene. And so when I came to Miami, Miami's a melting pot of everything, Latin music and everything, hip hop, funk, soul, whatever. So I had done a lot of work with a bunch of different cover bands, no matter where I lived. And I was always singing anything pretty much, cover bands want a variety. So I would do everything from AC/DC and Guns N' Roses to Adele and Shaka Khan and Aretha Franklin. So I just got used to singing all over the map and I love all kinds of music. So when I got to Miami, I was in a cover band and one of the guys was like, you need to be redoing your own stuff. Like, why are you singing everybody else's stuff? So he took me to a studio and I met my current producer actually is the one who introduced me to it because we were trying to like figure out what kind of, what's my sound? And if he likes everything, I like everything. And we're like, we tried this and we went this direction and that direction. And they were all good, but there was no like connecting factor, you know, and people are very, you know, some people are very tunnel vision. People are getting much more open-minded now.
Okay.
But this was like back in 2009. So this wasn't just a minute ago.
Oh,
So
so okay.
yeah,
Oh, so
the
way
homegirl's been
past.
in it for a minute now.
I see. I thought it was from 2013, but you
No, that's
actually
when I started going to
way
Trinidad.
back. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
started, you know, dabbling around 2009, and then um he just said, "Have you ever heard of soca music?" And I said, "Nope, never heard of it. No idea what you're talking about." And he's like, "Well, you know Carnival?" And I was like, "Well, I know like the only thing I know about Carnival was Brazil, bikinis, feathers. That's all I knew. Like I had seen it, but I
Mhm.
wasn't familiar. I didn't even really know culturally what it was all about specifically. It was just like, okay, people are obviously celebrating whatever, and this is how they do it. Okay, cool. High five, do your thing." So then he introduced me to Destra's um It's Carnival, and then
Mm.
introduced me to like the masses at like Super Blues Barbara, you know, back in the day, like the videos he brought up, that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh heck yeah, like this is totally up my alley. Like I can use my big mouth in a positive way.
So you
Yeah, I can, you
so you
know.
like challenges. You like
Oh
challenges
yeah.
when it comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the challenge, and it wasn't just like, you know, let me get in this because, so I'll backtrack a little bit. In my
Mm.
little town, there were just literally like white people and Native Americans. Like that was it. There were no
Okay.
African Americans. There were no, I think we had one adopted Asian kid in
Mm.
town and like one African American girl that was there. And literally, I didn't even know she was African American because in my head, it wasn't even on my radar at the time. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just not what I was used to seeing. So I just assumed, oh, she's probably native and just, you know, a little darker complected as some people are. So I didn't
Yeah.
even like register it. Like, it didn't even, and, you know, we didn't really talk about it because, you know, it's not like you're meeting all
Just
these new
wasn't a
people all the
thing.
time. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, this is all family. It's all good. It's all love. So just hang out and do your thing.
Yeah.
So, um, my aunt married a Native American, so I have Native American relatives, and was very into the culture and very into going to powwows and, you know, on the reservation, which was right near where my grandparents have a cranberry marsh, and our family's into like ocean spray cranberries. So they would need, you know, help at harvest time, and they would hire a lot of Native Americans to, you know, help with unemployment and things like that. So it was always very much like we were taught, you know, very early to be very aware of other cultures, what they go through, the struggles they might have, help where you can, be a good human being, do the right thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So not whatever, like it's no big deal, but you know, whatever you can, like do whatever you need to do to, you know, help somebody out along the way. So in having that be part of my family, and my friends, you know, tons of friends on the reservation, they have a Native American school on the reservation, that my dad actually helped get established.
Mm.
And then we had the school in town, and then we had another little teeny tiny school at a little tiny town that was like 15 minutes away. So you could take them to the teeny tiny school, they could go to the school on the reservation, or they would be in town. So a lot of the Native American kids still came to the in-town school, just by choice, because there was more, you know, after school activities and more sports programs. So a lot of, you know, parents would say, okay, let's send them there for whatever the reasons. So in that, being immersed in that culture as well,
Yeah.
and going to the powwows, like the drumming, insane. You know, that boom, 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 you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
totally different than a country, you know, a country swang song, you know, and, you know, a rock and roll kind of roar to it. But, you know, that drum is like, that's some different level stuff. Like, that's not entertainment. That's like life, you know? So when I heard soca and saw it, I was like, this is like
Right up your
identical. It's like the
alley.
same concept, like totally
Yeah.
different way of going about how it's handled.
Yeah.
Because Native Americans tend to be, you know, much more traditional and much more reserved with the, not with the sharing of culture, but with the participation
Mm.
in culture. There's certain times that it's very appropriate and other times that it's not at all if you're not Native.
Okay.
So when I felt that drum of soca, it was that same thing. So
It's like a
when I was little,
calling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When I was little, I used to dance in the little circles, like at the powwow. Like there were times when they would invite, people in to dance, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, 5, 6, and I'm like bouncing around my little sundress. And I'm not wearing feathers, like I'm not doing regalia, because obviously that's not, my personal culture, but
But
you
they're
know,
inclusive.
exactly, it was very inclusive, and my aunt would bring me in again. Everybody knows everybody, so this wasn't odd,
Yeah.
and it was all very, if you're there at the appropriate time and you're invited, then the more the merrier. So for me, that beat was like, oh wow, like it kind of struck that same chord in me that I
Chords.
hadn't heard in a long time, being that
Yeah.
I had been everywhere else and done, obviously in Kenya, there's very much that same element, but whatever that element is, like that is the thing that like makes me like, oh yeah, like let's go. So when I heard that, I said, I would love to be part of this. And my producer, who's Anthony Alexander, goes by the name Palmy. He has always been focused on trying to fuse soca with other genres. That's always been his goal as a producer, just to help spread it, pass it. He's a Brooklynite, so he's Trinidadian as well. His
Oh,
family,
nice.
is Trinidadian. So, but he was, born and raised here in the States in Brooklyn. So his goal was always to help push it by fusion. He's worked with plenty of the artists, in the past before I came into the picture. And, he was part of the whole, would play drums for the, panoramas in Brooklyn and, the actual drum kit, not the pans itself. So he said, hey, I've been trying to fuse this. I've been trying to spread it. Some people are interested. Some people aren't. Some people are mad that I'm doing it. Like, and this was, again, long before he met me, he was doing this. So he's like, I'm just wondering, are you interested in like, buckling up and going for a ride? I was like, sure. How hard could it be? So, not being naive is a great gift to have at certain times in your life.
It is knowing your limits too, but hearing your vocals, you play around with your vocals and so
Right.
forth. And then most times they say life is like a puzzle. It all comes together because
Right.
now that you're talking about, Native Americans and so forth, a little birdie told me that you did chutney saka.
Oh yeah, I've dabbled. I play around with all of it. I've done a couple. I haven't done a chutney in a while.
Yeah.
But I have done chutney. Again, just to like, and some people, get all, and I understand some people get all twisted, and as we say where I'm from, undies in a bundle. Forgive me if I
Yeah.
can say that. And they get like, what are you doing? And like get very offended. And I get it. Like I feel you, I hear you. At the same time,
Yeah.
being that what is presented to the public is that this is a very all-inclusive, welcoming,
Yes.
all of these genres are very open to all.
Yeah.
I am basically just saying, in my humble opinion, music is music is music. And the same way people sit in Trinidad and listen to hip hop on the radio is the same way I sit in America and listen to soca. Like it's,
Yeah.
and if that offends you, let me apologize up front. It's not meant to offend you. It's meant to say, why don't we do this together? Why do we
Yeah.
have to have like 15 different lanes? Like even in the States, why do we have to have country and hip hop and funk and soul and like, I get to label it so you kind of get an idea of what the vibe is.
Exclusive of each. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. To explain it, what it is, like call it something so when you hear it, oh, it's that kind of vibe. Okay.
Yeah.
But why is it only certain people are supposed to be in each lane? That's my question. Because
Yeah.
if other people tried new things, I mean, look at the artists now. There's a lot of artists now that are doing it and doing it well. I mean, hello, Beyonce, hello, Taylor Swift. Like,
Yeah.
and again, people get up
Jump
in arms
right
and they
into it.
freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So initially, a lot of people were like, when they'd see me in the studio, before they heard what I was working on, they'd be like, oh, what are you, a country artist? No, I'm not. I might, you never know what's up my sleeve. As a matter of fact, I've got some things up my sleeve. But, to me, trying out the chutney, I like the chutney too. The toss of drums and like all that. I was like, oh, this is a whole nother vibe. It's
Yeah.
it's the same but different. So why not? Why not jump in and give it a try? So I haven't done one in a while, but I dabbled in it and it was fun. It was a good time. So
Yeah. I think with any culture, well, let me just speak for Trinidad.
mhm,
Trinidadians look at it even within our own people as respect, you know?
right,
So they want to make sure that you understand that this is a culture, even
right,
with our costumes,
mhm,
now that it's less material and more body,
right,
more gyrating, and so forth. People want to go back to what it was because there's history behind it. So I
exactly,
think I think with the music in itself is because people just want that respect.
right, right,
But as you said, it's if we want to be, how should I say? If we want other people to play our music, to embrace our music, we have to be able to be open with it. If people want to sing the music, even though you're bringing it in a different way. So everybody, looking at one of the interviews I saw when you mentioned it's chutney soca. How did you say it? Chutney soca.
techno chutney soca at the
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
and he choked because
right,
because chutney's usually soca. And that's what we need to do in order for everyone to accept us. It's not like letting go the culture, but it's
right,
just being versatile.
right,
The same way how we take our soca songs, like some people would do covers of music and
right,
change it, the hip hop, the R&B, and put soca
right,
in it is basically the same thing,
right.
you know?
Well, and
Hmm.
that's where I got inspired to do it is because Destra's It's Carnival is based on Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah,
It's a cover. So when I
exactly.
heard that, I was like, oh, they're doing this. Like, hello. Yeah,
Yeah.
works for me. So that's why, like, in my head, and again, it's not to offend, it's not, that's why I'm very careful with, I make sure I come correct and I've done my homework and I've done, like, nobody understands the amount, the first thing people said to me was, well, you have to sing with the accent because that's the way you're supposed to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want me to sing with an accent, how many hours was I standing in the studio with the producer saying, no, you're saying it wrong. You're saying it wrong. You're saying it wrong. You're saying it wrong. And,
Mm.
some people are like, well, why are you copycatting? It's like, no, if you tell me that in order to be respectful to you, this is what I need to
Yeah.
do, then I'll do it 100%.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. If other people outside the culture don't get it and want to call me like some weird kind of a copycat, fine. But I've never claimed to be Trinidadian. I've never claimed to, have any connection to the culture other than what's been presented to me. And I was asked if this was something I wanted to do with someone from Trinidad who's trying to expand the genre. This is not a, teefty ting. It's not happening. Like, I'm not there to steal anything. I'm just saying, why can't everybody know about this? And unfortunately, and again, I'm going to be very careful when I say this because I know people get upset, but I didn't know what soca was in my tiny little town in Wisconsin. And there's still tons, like, Carnival has made huge advances as far as where it
Yes.
is being
Yeah.
displayed and enjoyed. 100% cannot argue that fact at all.
Yeah.
But if you look at the demographic of people in the audience,
Mm-hmm.
it has not expanded beyond either the diaspora or people very familiar with the diaspora or people who are related to the people in the diaspora. Like, it's still a very interconnected
Yeah.
thing where people need to understand it before they can get into it.
Yeah.
So what we try and do is try and say, if we present the music in a way people can hold on to that don't know anything about the culture, and then they get into it, then you can say, hey, guess what? This is where it comes from. This is what it's really about underneath. And if we can do that collectively, and I know all the artists are trying to do it, and as they should, everyone wants to push it and expand it and grow their audiences, and they're doing an amazing job. I'm not saying there's no other people getting on board. They are, especially within the last 5 years.
Yeah,
They've
because it's in
really,
China, it's in
exactly,
in
Japan.
Hollywood, it's
Right.
everywhere at the
Right.
moment,
You're right. So
But you wanted to expand beyond just the carnival.
right. Well, it's sort of like, again, it's kind of like trying to sell because it's so festival based,
Yeah,
excuse me. It's
based.
so
Yeah.
festival based. So it's the equivalent of saying, I want to sell Christmas 365 days a year. In
True.
some people's minds, Christmas is one time a year. It
Yeah.
happens once. And if you're not Christian, have a nice day. And that's okay. That's your culture. Of course, I'm not going to be like, well, what's your problem? Like, no, like I get it. But
That's
if
the
you're
fact.
saying,
Yeah.
right, if you're saying you want it to grow, you have to meet, working with kids and working with, people that don't always understand what I'm about and think that I come on this crazy ulterior motive of like hate and domination and theft, like, whatever their
Yeah.
expectation
You
or
can't
their
please everyone. That's the
exactly.
bottom line. You can't
Exactly.
please everyone. I've heard your accent. I think you were performing in Miami, in Tampa.
Right. Right.
And I heard the accent. I was like, But it was very heartwarming to hear someone from a different culture come in,
Right.
be able to put some twang into it, put your in
Right.
your twang in it. And then too, some people do not understand the language. So I'll give
Right.
you an example. When I do my voiceovers,
Hmm.
the producer, I mean the client that I have, right? Would ask the promoter, would say, Nicole, I want you to sing a little bit more Trinidadian. But I've been here so long,
Right.
like you
Right.
can't get the authentic Trinidad accent,
Right.
but I will try to do it because now people over there, even though it's my people, I'm from Trinidad, I'm still an outsider, right?
Hmm.
Who's trying to not dominate, but just be
Right. Just be
doing
part of
ads
it.
and so forth over
Right.
there for people to understand. So I have to use certain, not even just dialects, some words that they would
Right.
use when I do my commercials,
Right.
So it's
Right.
understood. Yeah.
And it's very true. Like when you sing, like if I'm singing to an American, it's like I was mentioning with working with young people, you have to meet them where they are. They're not going to go anywhere with you unless you meet them where they're at. So if you need me to start here and then we can grow together and we can expand together and we can do this together, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. You'll understand, the method behind the madness or the reasoning behind why I do what I do and as serious as I take it and why I've been doing it so long and as hard as I work in the genre. Not that everybody else doesn't work hard, because I know the struggle is real and the grind is the grind. But if you come to an understanding of like, rather than just prejudging and be like, oh, white bimbo, America, she's here to just shake her rear end and, steal the culture and run away and make $1 million. Okay, I wish.
Has anyone ever said that to your face, or you've read it somewhere? Because I know sometimes people could be a little.
I've had people. I've never had anyone. So usually in audiences, people are super supportive, like yourself. Like I've never, knock on wood, I say this every time and I knock on wood every time. I've never had anybody from the Caribbean as a whole ever come to me with disrespect. If they come to me, they're like, keep doing it, girl. Like we see you, like we understand, like we're down, like do it, keep going, keep going, keep going. The only people that have ever said anything to me would be like comments on social media. Haters are haters, like do whatever. As long as in the space that I'm trying to respect and love and bring a vibe to is raising their flag and being like, yeah, sister, handle it. I'm going to like humbly bow and say, I got you. And away we go. And everybody else can, as we say, old days, hip hop, kick rocks. So
Yeah, you gotta do what
right.
you gotta do. If
Yeah.
this is this is the destination that you're on and so forth, you just continue doing what you're doing, and you have, your producer on your side, your team on
Right.
your side, your band on your side.
Right.
I would say just go for it.
Well, thank you. And
yeah.
I mean, again, the reason I got into it was because there is such a joy. There is such a joy that cannot be matched. It can't be duplicated. It can't be cookie cuttered. It can't. You have like, it is a joy. Like Carnival's a spirit, soca's a spirit. Like I believe that 100%, like 100%, because, and when you look in the States and the kids that I've worked with, when you're dealing with drug addicts and you're dealing with teen moms and you're dealing with, abandoned kids and you're dealing with homelessness and you're dealing with all this stuff, you say to yourself, oh my God, like, how do we fix this? Like, how do we fix it? And when you look at a carnival, it's like, oh my, like there it is. Like it's right there. And it's being able to introduce, and again, I'm just calling a spade a spade. If people get offended by the truth, please forgive me. This is not me speaking ill about anybody. This is me just saying from my experience, what I've seen in the world around me. If I'm working with kids that are struggling, they have no hope. they have no joy, they have nothing to look forward to, they have no sense of connection to anyone or anything. And in my humble opinion, if you can take that vibration and give it to all people, not just white people. A lot of people come to me thinking, I'm bringing the white people. Guess what? They're going to be the last ones to come, because why? Up until maybe they see something they feel comfortable connecting with, because as we know, racism runs wild and free everywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
some people aren't going to get on board until they see someone like them doing it. That's their bag. Let them, whatever they are is what they are, and that's on them. But at the end of the day, the kids I deal with are non-white people from everywhere. And if they feel like they are not part of anything, we're all done. We're all doomed, because that's the future. And if they
Yeah.
have nothing to hope for and nothing to get up out of bed for, and to take them to a place of, older hip hop, now it's shifting and changing. But if the vibe you're bringing them is death, drugs, sex, guns, and jail,
That's what they're gonna fall into.
right.
Don't show
So
them anything better.
if you can put them and show them, look at all these millions of people, and again, forgive me, that look like you, and look how they come together, look how they love, look how much joy, look how much laughter, look how much celebration, look.
Yeah.
You can do this. Like,